Hey folks, it's Tommy Z, your Uncle Z here to give you some advice about how to get hired in our business. I'm going to give you the 5 reasons why a music producer will hire a freelance musician just like you and pay them money to create music right out of your home studio for a big brand campaign. You want to especially stick around to the end because the 5th reason is something that I keep on forgetting about that seems like a secret superpower because it instantly accelerates your progress and maximizes your chances of getting paying gigs in our business, all right? So without further delay, let's start with number 1. It goes without saying that you gotta be a remarkable musical craftsperson. Some people have this mistaken notion that making music for brands is like making corporate music, jingles. There's a lot of terrible music out there. The first question is, do you wanna be responsible for that music? Because personally, I would rather make the kind of music that I can be proud of and show to my grandkids. The kind of music that flexes my creative muscle. And some people have this mistaken notion that brands aren't responsible for any good music, but they have to resonate with discerning, sensible, stylish, creative consumers. People just like us, right? They will work with cutting-edge artists. But don't get the mistaken notion that you can be mediocre as a musician and still get into our business. This is not true. There's a lot of musicians. The tools are available for everyone. Everyone has the samples. Everyone is sounding great. But now, how do you translate this into a remarkable skill set? And I'm gonna give you a recipe for this, all right? You don't want to just be doing loops, doodling and dabbling every day and tickling yourself, because that's what amateurs do. If you want to become a remarkable craftsperson, you actually have to create things and bring them to a finish, not getting stuck in a loop. The beautiful thing about our business is that you're given a deadline and specific creative direction as to what kind of music is necessary. For a guy like me with ADHD, I could sit there stuck in a loop for 6 hours and then get despondent and discouraged because I'm just like so stuck in this loop. I don't have the luxury to be stuck in a loop. I literally have to know what the intro, the middle, and the end is going to be of every track. So you not only have to bring things to a finish, but you have to bring them to a finish with something that gives me goosebumps. So 2 recipes I have for you is practice daily. Take commercials off of YouTube and practice to them every single day. There is nothing else like teaching you how to create songs with structures that have twists and turns, just like advertising music. The second thing I want you to do, this is underrated, but like most masters, before they became remarkable, they steeped themselves in remarkable art. They surrounded themselves with works that have stood the test of time. Part of being a great craftsperson is you have to elevate your taste, you have to elevate your standard, and what you want to do is follow the kind that you resonate with personally. So don't follow someone you don't want to be like. Follow your heroes. Try to emulate them. Learn, reverse engineer what stood out as their signature sound. And what could you have as your signature sound? You're not gonna get a job or a breakthrough in this business unless you somehow stand out from a sea of sameness and mediocrity. Number 2, you gotta be resolute. I love the word resolute because it contains so many words within it. For me, somebody who's resolute is responsive, is reliable, someone that's going to bring things to a resolution. Now, combined with a revolutionary, remarkable musical skill set, you can combine those 2 words and call yourself resolutionary. This is what you're striving to do. This is what is the golden standard. Why? Because you not only want to resolve creative problems, you want to be responsive, you want to be counted on, you want to have the trust of music producers like me, but we should also know that you're always going to bring the special touch. Sometimes it's just as simple as answering your email, as checking your email every day. So being resolute is why I'm going to hire you. Number 3 is simply because you're going to be on my radar. Now, I rarely ever trust strangers. Do you trust strangers? I don't trust strangers. Do I sometimes turn a stranger into a kindred spirit? Of course I do. But that's a process. It doesn't happen overnight. I always tell musicians that one of the key things you have to take care of is you have to get on the radar in a meaningful, purposeful, even enjoyable, I would say from my point of view, way, not with irritating relentlessness, but with polite persistence. Because the art of follow-up in our business, staying on somebody's radar, is so essential. And I'm not talking about sending 10 emails of follow-up. Hey, did you get my email? Hey, did you get my email? But staying on the radar means, for instance, you find out about my passions, the things that are close to the heart of some music producer out there that you're trying to reach, and you ping them. You put in the calendar a date every 3 weeks or so to ping this particular person in our business. And instead of sending a boring email like, hey, just following up, just say, hey, did you hear about your favorite artist? Or did you hear about this? Or did you hear about that? And then when you share the news with them, you can, in postscript, write, P.S., hey, I just finished working on this. If you have a second to check it out, would love to know what you think. Number 4, folks, is right timing. Many of you get so discouraged after sending 30, 50, 70 emails, and you don't realize that sometimes Uncle Z is not working on a project. I happen to be a very small boutique music production company. We work on maybe 10 to 12 projects every single year, but there are times when I don't work on a project for a month. Now imagine anybody that emails me during that month, I simply have no work to give them, even if I wanted to, and that's okay. That's why the art of follow-up is essential, because you don't know when the right timing is for Uncle Z. Hell, even Uncle Z doesn't know when he's going to get the next project. These are the strange and random laws of our business that you learn. As soon as you break into our world, you realize, oh my goodness, it's hard to predict anything in this world. Yes, it is. And so we don't worry about that. We don't worry about things out of our control. We just simply get up in the morning, brush our teeth, and email 3 people. You don't get emotional about brushing your teeth, right? Because we don't know when a project is going to happen, we maximize our chances of landing in the right inbox at the right time with music producers that we want to work with, because we are on their radar. And this is not left up to ad hoc randomness. This is programmed in our calendar that we're going to follow up with these folks for as long as it takes until we happen to be at the right place at the right time. Timing is everything in our business. That's why you want to give yourself the highest odds possible by not doing ad hoc emailing, but by doing steady daily outreach to people. Uncle Z always says this formula: 3, 15, 60, 720. That's what happens when you email 3 people a day. They turn into 15, they turn into 60, they turn into 720 over the span of the year. All right, and the number 5 reason why I would hire you: referrals. It is hard work to try to befriend a stranger. It's hard. They don't want to open their door. They have enough problems in their life. They don't want to hear from another musician. The way to accelerate your connection and your chance to get the first project in our biz is simply to utilize referrals. Referral means that you know somebody who may know somebody who's in the business, and you simply ask to be referred. You simply ask to be introduced. Now, this bypasses instantly all sorts of obstacles, because obviously that stranger trusts their cousin or trusts their friend. And if they happen to know your friend or your cousin, you instantly accelerate the time frame to the handshake, to the connection, and maybe to the first project. All you need is a single, delightful connection and conversation with someone in order to already be able to ask them for a referral. And this is a trick that I used when I first got into the business, okay? I would have a beer with some advertising executive at some hipster bar. Uncle Z had the best jokes, the best one-liners. I was quick, I was clever. I made a great first impression. And after that kind of an epic beer where the other person laughed, they cried, they enjoyed themselves, they remember Uncle Z, right? Now, I don't have to wait for them to give me a project. I would email right away and say, hey, that was an epic beer. I don't remember the last time I had this much fun. Hey, is there anyone else like you that I could invite for a beer? Maybe you and I and this person could have a beer together. Can you introduce me to someone who is just like you in this advertising industry. And what are the chances that an advertising executive has a kindred spirit in the same industry? They're very high, right? So the power of referral can really accelerate you, and you don't have to wait to have a paying client or to have a project in order to ask anyone you had a great connection with to introduce you to their friends. And this will make it much easier for you to get into their inbox, to have a lunch with them, basically to have them open their door to you. Okay folks, I hope this has been helpful. If you enjoyed this video, I think you should watch this one next.